Yeah, thank you very much. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I am in Tsavo Conservation Area. The purpose why I came is one, uh, for quite some time now, Tsavo Conservation Area has reported many cases of bushmeat in terms of bushmeat proliferation. The amount of bushmeat which have been reported in Tsavo has been high, and therefore I felt that I should find out what the issues are. And the way we showed you in the morning, sometime in the morning, you'll find that poachers are using an orthodox means to really ensure that they do a disservice to our small animals, the tiki-tikis, cells, and etc. Now, the proliferation of bushmeat has been realized, especially the last 3 months during the COVID time. So it looks like people who have lost employment and etc. are looking at wildlife as a source of getting income. I want to mention that indeed, as a government, the law is very clear that bushmeat remains bushmeat. When you want to get meat on your table, use the proper way of having normal meat from livestock. But any meat from the bush is not acceptable. It is against the law, and that is why, as a government, we are vigilant. k.w.s has been very vigilant on the ground in terms of arresting these people and charging them. You've even seen, you saw some time back last week, that even bushmeat, there are people who are using even the trailers to carry bushmeat. I want to mention that indeed the law will catch up with such business people. As far as we are concerned, they are not business people. Those are illegal activities, and the law will treat with them accordingly like that. So that is one of the reasons why we are here. The government, we are protecting wildlife. And so the consequence of using bushmeat is that the bigger animals will not be able to get their food. You know, the small, in an ecosystem, a proper ecosystem, we have the small animals and then the middle ones and the huge and the giant ones. So for the carnivores, they depend on this as a fodder for themselves, as a way of sustaining the fauna and flora. And so when we come as human beings to destabilize that kind of system, it's not good for conservation in this country. And that is why, as a government, I want to mention that we will be extra vigilant no matter the period. Even if it is COVID and people don't have employment, that is not the issue. The issue is they should keep off, otherwise the law will be used without fear or favor. Number two, you are also aware that the Tsavo ecosystem is a very important ecosystem in terms of conservation in our country. It's unfortunate, some few days ago we had also fires which were contained. So we want to encourage people when they are burning anything closer to parks, they should be careful, and they should be careful because it is destroying the environment. Anytime you destroy the environment, you destroy the pasture, you will destabilize the sustainability programs we have in the parks. It will make the flora and fauna not to function the way they are expected to function. I also want to mention that indeed you are aware that because of these COVID issues, the government has the president on 23rd made pronouncement in the tourism and wildlife sectors, so that we are able to stimulate. You are aware that this COVID-19 has affected our sector strongly. And so there are some stimulus programs which have been put forward, and we are waiting for budget process to be completed so that we are able to see how we can restart our sector. And there are two areas particularly where wildlife has been touched. The first one is the issue of community scouts, so that the government will be recruiting some community scouts through k.w.s, 5,500 in number, so that they will be able to assist us in managing the parks also. You know, issues of fire, issues of also human-wildlife conflict, they are able to advise and educate the community so that we minimize this human-wildlife conflict. Number two, also on the same, we are aware conservancies have challenges to pay their salaries to their rangers, to their supervisors, to their managers. And so the government, through this program, will also be able to assist the conservancies, which number about 161. And we are still reviewing whether if there will be also others which fall under that, and then we will discuss accordingly. And the purpose being, for 1 year, we assisted them, because what they are doing is they are participating in conserving and protecting the wildlife. You know, in Kenya, the protection of wildlife is vested in the government, and we are using Kenya Wildlife Service to do the security issues to ensure that the wildlife are secure and they are protected, so that be it that a wildlife has been killed in a private conservancy or in a community conservancy, a national park or a game reserve, the responsibility of ensuring security for such is done appropriately, is given to the government, and the minister is answerable for that. And so that is why at all times we protect these animals for posterity, so that they can do well in the environments. One, let me say that K-meat is outlawed in Kenya. It is not acceptable, it is not allowed by law to use bush meat, because if you want to have meat, we have livestock. Livestock is a sure way of getting meat, but not a bush meat. And anybody who participates in bush meat activity, which has been banned by the law, is taken to be a criminal, and therefore the law will take its course. So I want to say that anybody who is hunting the bushmeat, killing the animals for the purpose of using its meat, the law will catch up with them, and that is why we are very vigilant. That is why k.w.s has been. I can tell you, you can do it once and succeed, but eventually the law will catch up with you. In fact, the government has kept its antennas full, and I want to assure you that anybody who tries to do that will be dealt with accordingly as far as the law is concerned. There is no stimulus program. We will be able to look at the hotspots of such. We will look at the hotspots of human-wildlife conflict. We will look at the hotspots for K-meat and hotspots of the areas which we think is threatening our sector. And so we will use that one to apportion accordingly the issue of the conservation scouts and the conservation scouts we will be recruiting, so that we see how we can also encourage them to appreciate conservation in its own right. But more importantly, I want to mention that we will be using different fora to educate our people the reason as to why we should be conserving our wildlife. The reason why we should be conserving our flora and fauna. It is for posterity. It is for posterity. Now you have even seen that there are people who are getting carbon credit in terms of being financed because of protecting the wildlife, protecting the environment. So there are better ways of utilizing the land which we have. When you do something which is acceptable internationally, there is also money associated to it in form of carbon credit as far as the environmental program is concerned. Yeah. The first one is thank you very much. I want to start with your first question, and your first question is to do with whether we have plans of employing more rangers, especially Tsavo. The last time we employed rangers was 2015. So if you look at 2015, we've not employed rangers for the last 5 years. And this is mostly because of finance. But as a government, as a ministry, we are working closely to see how we can source for more money from the government so that we increase the number of rangers. But while we are doing that, we will now use this opportunity to get the scouts fast so that they fill the cap. The scouts first will fill the cap as we make plans for recruiting more rangers in the near future. You will be informed accordingly when funds is available. But it's our intention that this will happen soonest. Number two, you talked about invasive species. You are aware in 2019 we developed a strategy of how to handle invasive species in our parks, in our reserves, and in our environment. Now that strategy is in place. What we are now doing is to move sequentially from one area to another one. We've discussed in here Tsavo how to handle the issue of invasive species, because if we don't handle invasive species, you will find that the pasture we have in the parks, in the reserves, will be diminished. They will be reducing in terms of numbers. And some of the species are not also healthy as far as the animals are concerned. So we are we are actualizing that strategy in terms of how to move from from now paperwork to actual works. So I want to say that the strategy is there. What we are doing is that we are implementing now the strategy. It may not be possible to do for the whole country at the same time, but sequentially we are doing. We have already started here in Tsavo. In Nairobi National Park, we have already started the issue of reducing the invasive species. And eventually our plan is to see how we can eradicate them completely. It is possible to do it, and we are working towards ensuring that this is achieved. It's a very important national park. It's a very important national park. It is the biggest. It is the one holding the highest number of elephants in the country. So really, and we are known as a country for elephants, and so Tsavo plays a very important role. And through my visit here, I'll be able to come up with new ideas of how to make this park to be better. Yeah. In this financial year 2019-2020, in our budget we had 569 million for compensation. I want to say that the government has released all that 569 million, and for even here at Taita Taveta, I think there are 25 people. Within the next two weeks, they are part of the beneficiaries of that 569. Within the next 2 weeks, we will be able to have cleared what have been approved. And so for next year, we will also be looking at almost a similar amount of money, I think around 564 million, thereabout. This money is not enough, but we will always be striving to see how we can increase it to well over 1 billion so that we are able to manage the numbers. But the way I said, we are not happy with the backlog. We have done up to 2017. Between 2017 and now is almost 3 years. It is our planning that within the next 3 years we want to finish the backlog so that at least we are able to compensate people within a year. It is a plan we have. We will work towards it. And in terms of the numbers are very the number of cases we have been dealing with for the last 6 months is well over 13,000 in the country. So from 13,000, you can imagine how to go through records of 13,000 people. That's why sometimes we take a lot of time. So, but I'm happy that out of the 13,000, we have now managed to sort out up to 2017 to see who is supposed to be given what, and if payment is not done, what reason? Is there a document which is missing, and etc. And so the numbers are increasing. In fact, for the last 3 months, human-wildlife conflict has increased in Kenya so much, especially the hippos, because of the increasing amount of rainfall. You find that the lakes have increased in size. They have increased in size, and therefore the spaces, the hippos, when they want to graze, they will be forced to go towards where people live, and that is why we have been having so many cases of hippos being reported, especially in Lake Naivasha, Lake Victoria region, and also coastal places. Yeah, but we've always encouraged our citizens, whenever, unfortunately, a wildlife species kill somebody, injure somebody, or destroy somebody's property, we always encourage the citizens to report within 24 hours to government agency, especially k.w.s, or also our national government officers who start from the chiefs, the sub-chiefs, chiefs, and going up to the DC, up to the county commissioner, so that we get to know what has happened. Number two, you should also report in a police station so that you are given an OP number. And when you are injured, when you go to hospital, ensure you keep also records. You keep records so that the records will assist you during when you are filling the forms. More important also, in case somebody dies, it is important that when a post-mortem is done, there is normally a certificate which is issued, post-mortem report. So when somebody keeps all that information, it becomes easier to file a claim for compensation. So I want to encourage our citizens, whenever, unfortunately, that happens, report it within 24 hours so that the government will plan of how to compensate. Yeah.
Kwanza nataka nishukuru kwa matembezi ya PS. Last week tulikuwa na matembezi ya minister, waziri wa kilimo na mifugo, pamoja na PS wake hapo Bachuma. Tukaongea mambo mengi sana kuhusu development ya mifugo katika county, na especially kuhusu ile facility ya Bachuma. Na leo sasa tunashukuru kwa PS amekuja kuongea nasi kuhusu mambo ya wildlife. Kama najua ni kuwa wanyama pori wote ambao wako katika Tsavo East na Tsavo West wako pia katika ranches. Na tunafanya mipango pia na mikakati ya kubenefit kutoka kwa wildlife ambao katika ranches kupitia kwa kufanya conservancies. Na sisi kama ranches wa Taita Taveta na wakazi wa Taita Taveta, kila wakati tunahimiza serikali kuwa pasipo mwananchi wa kawaida Mtaita na Mtaveta kupata faida na kuona faida ya hawa wanyama pori ambao katika mbuga zetu na katika ranchi zetu, kila wakati tutakuwa na wadui na wanyama pori. Na ndio tumemweleza PS, na tunashukuru kuwa mipango inafanyika ili kupitia kwa tourism na conservancies tuwe tunapata faida ya mifugo. 19 kama vile alivyosema, nilikuwa kuna mipango ambayo imefanywa conservancies na watu ambao wanafanya mambo ya ufugaji ambao wameathirika pia wapate. Sasa hii tunafuatilia na k.w.s tuone kama nini ambacho tutaweza kufaidi sisi.
Bilioni moja ambayo ilikuwa imetoka.
Nadhani definitely kupata. Lakini sasa sijui mama kama ngapi. Hiyo tunangoja kuwasiliana na k.w.s.
Au na mawili matatu labda katika hisia yenu nyinyi hamtamani kupata hizo fedha?
Tunatamani, tunakwambia sisi kuna mpango tuliongea nao, tunataka kujua exactly how much. Exactly kiasi gani ambacho kimetengwa kwetu sisi bado hajaambiwa. Lakini kama vile PS amesema, nawasiliana na k.w.s, tutajua kama ni nini ambacho kinapatikana. Fence. Kuna fence ambayo ilianzishwa na k.w.s kutoka Kamtonga mpaka sehemu za Alia. That was only 30 kilometers. Lakini kuna sehemu ambayo ilibaki kutoka Mgeno kupitia mpaka Sagala mpaka Maungu mpaka Kasigao 96 kilometers. Hizo ambazo zimependa sana, zimesababisha sana human wildlife conflict. Sasa kama vile amepromise, ni kwa hivi karibuni watakuja kufanya hiyo. Na hiyo itasaidia sana watu wa ukaaji wa hapa kulindwa na wanyama pori kuingia katika mashamba yao. Hiyo fence itakuwa between mashamba ya watu na ranches. So ranches zote zitakuwa katika ndani ya waya, wale mashamba yote na makazi ya watu yatakuwa outside the fence. Kwa hivyo itasaidia sana ku address human wildlife conflict.